So for those of you that watched the last video, you'll know where I got up to with the actual track itself, and since then I have made a few changes. I'll start off with the intro part. I did say that I was going to add an extra guitar part just to make the clean guitar sound a little bit more interesting. So I've got a guitar underneath that's adding sort of a chorus effect to the beginning, so that sounds like this. Okay, and then also as we go into the actual part where the full band comes in, I added a reverse cymbal hit just to build up the tension a bit more and add a bit more interest to it. So it's also that lead guitar part I've re-recorded. I'm happy. It's better than last time. I'm still not 100% happy with it. Probably going to have to look at it again because it's still not as perfect as I would like, but it'll do for now. So, and then on to the main hook of the song. And then what I've done is I've also changed the bass drum on that intro part as well, so it more follows the riff of the actual song. So I think it sounds, it makes it sound a bit more in keeping with the rest of the song. And then I've also added an extra, just as an experiment, I've added an extra guitar layer on top of that, just to try and make because the hook plays through like twice, and I thought the second part, playing the second thing doesn't change, it doesn't add anything. So I've added an extra lead guitar part, which is just playing octaves higher up. So let me just show you. So that is just. It's just it needs to be recorded a lot cleaner if I'm going to use it, but it's just an experiment for now, just to see if it works. So. See, that also, and putting that there, helps to add a kind of a layer of dynamic shift between the opening hook and then the verse. Because I was contemplating whether to actually like drop out the guitar parts and just have the first part of the verse be just bass and drums, but I think it sounds a bit empty without that. So instead I've added that little lead guitar part at the beginning, which builds up the energy, so that then when that cuts out, even though the other guitar parts are still the same, there is a feel of a drop, so you lower it in like into a verse part. So see, there's a drop. And also oh yes, and I did get the second guitar part recorded now, so I've got one pan left and one pan right, which does massively thicken the sound of the actual guitars and everything itself. So and also panning them left and right, which is, a thing that's been done ever since like stereo was invented back in the 50s or whatever. But that putting them left and right actually then leaves room in the middle for the bass and the drums to actually shine through a bit more. So, and then that's also where the vocals will sit as well when I get round to doing them. I also realised when I was working last time that I forgot to add the second verse in at this point, because the actual song itself has verse 1, then verse 2 before it goes into the pre-chorus. It's like a double length verse for the first time round, which again is another common trick to just change slightly the way the actual song sounds. It's not straight verse chorus and stuff. Also, you'll notice that I'm actually not on GarageBand anymore. I'm actually on Logic Pro, because I spotted a thing that Apple are doing a 90-day free trial, so I've got literally 90 days to get this song and the other songs that we've already written, recorded and done, and to try and get at least one of the 3 EPs I want to release recorded and done. So we'll see how that goes. Now this is the pre-chorus section, which again I'm still having a little bit of arranging issues with. At the moment what we've got is both the right and the left guitars are just playing, following the chords of the bass. But then up the centre we've actually got the original guitar part that I recorded before, which is like following the riff of the drums. So all together, I mean that part needs to be re-recorded because that was the first take, but all together we've got this at the moment. I'm not sure whether I'm happy with it that way. I don't know whether to actually, instead of having these left and right guitars playing the chords, which I definitely want in there because that section is a build up to the chorus itself, so it needs to be in there. But I also still want to have the riff going on underneath. What I'm thinking possibly is instead of those two guitars playing low chords down this end, you know, whilst the riff is going on, because it tends to end up being quite muddy at that point and you can't really hear either things. What I might do is keep the low part of the guitar going, whilst we have a guitar up again just playing octaves higher, so you'd have, so I think that'll stand out a bit more than what we've got at the moment, but we'll have to see. So I still need to experiment with that a bit more. Then we've got going on to the chorus itself, where in like typical fashion that's quite common nowadays, we'll drop down to half time. So from the pre-chorus, and then straight back into the hook again. This first chorus is only half length, so it's only like 8 bars, whereas the normal chorus is 16. So, which again is another trick to try and vary the length of the sections, which keeps the interest going. It also means later on you can like do double length choruses, and they'll all sound different. So. Just before the actual chorus itself though, we've got a section where everything drops out except for that the guitar's just playing that one little pattern, which are used to actually emphasise going into the chorus itself. Let me just play you that again. Which again is all about playing with the dynamics of the song itself, so that you've got the interest maintained. Then we go on to coming into the hook again, which is just the same as the hook on the intro. I've not added the upper octave part yet because I'm still deciding on that, but I probably will do something to make it sound a little bit, to again add interest to the listener. Then we've got a third verse, which is this one's just standard 8 bars, whereas the other two were, it was a double verse before. So then pre-chorus again, which is exactly the same as the other time. I'm still figuring out that. We've got the same drop out just before the second chorus. This time, yeah, like I said, the chorus is twice as long. And again, for these chorus parts, what I've done is I've programmed the drums myself rather than relying on the drummer program that's built into Logic. Straight after the chorus from and then it goes into the solo, and the solo is split into like 2 parts. I've got the first part, which, if I can play it, we'll see. I'll show you kind of what it sounds like if I can get it to work. We'll see. Right. So let's play it from about. That second part was supposed to have been, if I could actually play it. Fucking hell, I can't even remember what it was I wrote. Okay.
20 minutes later. Eventually.
Something like that. I'll sort it out properly when I actually sit down and take time to record it. Anyway, it goes into another double chorus at the end. Then we've simply got the outro, which is just. And that's it. So that's the full song where we've got to so far. I still need to obviously record some other parts, and I still need to make some changes to the actual structure, and then obviously I've got the vocals to do, which is going to be fun, but you know, doable, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, let me know what you think again, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention last time, please subscribe, because it'll help me a lot during this time of uncertainty that we're going through right now. Yeah, so I'll catch you next time.